quick little side note, if you see my hair flowing and getting all ugly and stuff throughout this video, it's because I have a fan blowing my way in every single video, actually. I'd die of heat stroke if I didn't have this thing blowing, so sorry about the visuals and the audio. Dear viewer, I played through a good amount of Pokemon games at this point, so I wanted to share my teams with you. Seemed like a good way to spend the next few minutes. Now, am I directly copying yet another M&J TV video? Maybe, but that's not for you to point out. Stop that. So picture this. The year is 2016. My 10th birthday rolls around and marks the start of my journey with Pokemon games. I've been a huge fan of the black and white and XY anime, but it was time for Ash Ketchum to step aside and let me show him how it was done. And being 2016 and all, it only made sense for me to go outside, get some sunshine, and play Pokemon White. I love Generation 5 with all my heart, man. Even the anime, despite later finding out that everybody else hates it. But the way Gen 1 started with Kanto, I was able to start with the soft rebooted Unova. So what did a 10-year-old Alex see fit for his first ever team? Well, he first needed the best starter, the GOAT. The strongest Pokemon I have to this day, his name is Fuego the Emboar. Flare Blitz, Hammer Arm, Solar Beams, Head Smash, a moveset full of slow and self-inflicting damage moves, but that didn't mean squat to the powerhouse. He is my greatest Pokemon partner, forever and always. The rest of the team went as follows: Unpheasant, Crocodile, Emolga, Basculin, and Haxorus. And pretty much all of them besides Crocodile and Haxorus were unplanned additions. I knew Haxorus was a beast thanks to Purple Roger's playthroughs, and Crocodile was just the coolest guy around. And I include Emboar in that unplanned list because I had the grand old plan to keep Tepig a Tepig for the entire game. Believe it or not, he stayed a Tepig up until the final gym. It took going up against dragons for me to finally cave in and let that man evolve. And as for the in-game trades, Emolga and Basculin, there's plenty of amazing water and electric types to choose from in Unova, but I just kind of stuck with them for some reason. I think it was because of them being traded Pokemon that I kept them, since, you know, they have that experience boost. And then there was Unpheasant. I knew the Fly HM was important, but I didn't want to train a 6th Pokemon for whatever reason. So it was just a random P-Dub in the slot for like the longest time. I had even made my peace that I would be going to the Elite Four with an incomplete team. But when I entered one of the Opelucid Towers for a double battle, I was legit a move away from getting completely defeated. My Pokemon were fainting left and right, and I knew I needed the experience gain to be able to stand up against those dragons. So I threw out that little Pidove as a final resort. It killed the opponent with a quick attack, and the XP gain was like insane to watch in real time. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that in a playthrough ever since. This was truly a miraculous team. Now 2 years and a 2DS later, I was able to play my next Pokemon game. And you may be asking why I didn't venture down the rabbit hole of DS games that Pokemon has. But by the time that I played this next one, games like Diamond and Pearl were already way more expensive than games like Ultra Sun and Moon were that winter. So I played Ultra Sun. My team in Alola consisted of Primarina, Alolan Muck, Vikavolt, Noivern, Alolan Marowak, and Serena. This was one of the few times I chose a water starter over a fire one. I just loved Popplio from the moment I saw the Sun and Moon trailer. I don't remember much about the playthrough, to be honest, but I know it was a great time with all the extra content. It was one of the longer games I've played. Oh, actually, during the Necrozma fight, the Ultra Necrozma fight, Primarina practically soloed that thing, so he might be on par with Emboar just for that. Now, my third team actually did bring me back to the DS, thanks to a flea market copy of Pokemon White 2. This time around, I journeyed through Unova with Samurott, Lucario, Crocodile, Arcanine, Sigilyph, and Galvantula. I tried my best to avoid any repeats, but Crocodile was just too cool, man. It was fun having Sigilyph and Galvantula, though. It felt like I was truly experiencing Unova to the fullest this time around. I've always had thoughts about who would win in a fight between my White 1 and White 2 team, but I just can't seem to decide on a clear winner. Probably Emboar's team, though. And now we've made it to the Switch era games. Pokemon Sword contains my 4th completed team, frame drops and all. Cinderace, Corviknight, Boltund, Scrafty, Seismitoad, and Hatterene. Pretty basic choices looking back, with a little Unova sprinkled in. I liked all the starter signature moves this generation, especially Cinderace's Powerball. That was a pretty sick move. I sort of wish my Boltund looked cooler, but he got the job done, I guess. Scrafty and Seismitoad had some heavy hitting moves that got me through a lot in the stadium gym battles. And speaking of which, the ambiance of that stadium setting was really great, especially for a main Pokemon game that could be played on the TV for the first time. Honestly, if this game was given voice acting and one of those Switch 2 upgrade pack thingies, it'd be one of the most beloved games in the series. I still liked it regardless. Now the following year, I set my sights on the newest version of Kanto, Let's Go Pikachu. All of them had pretty stupid nicknames because I wasn't taking the playthrough seriously, so I wanna highlight those. There was Doritos the Pikachu, Feathers the Pidgeot, Bulbasaur the Venusaur, Jake the Golduck, State Farm the Arcanine, and Peekaboo the Dugtrio. Since they made the partner Pikachu stronger than usual, he was the one I brought out to battle most of the time. And the routes to the Elite Four also took me forever for some reason. All of my play hours was spent just in there. I don't know what was going on. But yeah, there's not much else to say about this game, to be honest. Now, Pokemon Scarlet had an interesting lineup for the team. There was Skeledirge, Oricorio, Lilligant, Slowbro, Revavroom, and Tyranitar. They were all equal members of the team. Usually there would be one or two aces that I battled with the majority of times, like I mentioned earlier with Pikachu. But these guys were in constant rotation. I really like that about this team. It helped that the 3 routes in this game gave chances of spotlight to each of them. You know, the gym battles, Evil Team, and the Titans were a nice batch of content for the newest game at the time. Never spent money for the DLC, but I heard it was pretty alright. I might revisit it one day. Now we're going back in time for this one. Pokemon FireRed. I played this on my totally real, totally legit Game Boy Advance SP. The team consisted of Charizard, Butterfree, Primeape, Dugtrio, Seadra, and Jolteon. I have tried like a bajillion times to finish a FireRed or LeafGreen playthrough, but it just always falls short in the end. So technically speaking, this journey was 5 years in the making until I could finally lock in on an attempt and finish the damn thing. See, usually I'd make it to Koga's gym and then just lose interest in the thing. I just would stop playing. But I did like getting to bring all of my early Pokemon into the championship battle. Like getting to see Butterfree, Solar Beam, Blue's Blastoise, and winning the whole thing was such a highlight. Oh, and to my knowledge, Seadra is the only Pokemon in any of my completed teams to not be fully evolved. Those ding-dang trait evolutions, man. And here is my newest team as of now with Pokemon Legends ZA. This game gave me a chance to relive some glory days by having Tepig as a starter choice again. So in order, Emboar, Raichu, Gyarados, Absol, Chestnut, and Crocodile. I know, what a third Crocodile in the mix, but I just had like a dozen Tauros, so cut me some slack, man. Now I do have to admit that I haven't actually finished this game, but it just felt weird not to include them in this video since the team is pretty much complete, you know? It also serves as a pretty nice full circle moment. You know, I started my journey with Emboar, and I'm doing it once more for the final team in this video. But what if I were to make the ultimate team? Looking at all the teams I just talked about and choosing the best ones for maximum power. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my Sinister Six. Emboar, Firefighting, Oricorio, Electric Flying, Primarina, Water Fairy, Tyranitar, Dark Rock, Venusaur, Grass Poison, and Haxorus, Dragon. If I were to join some World Championship event thingy, this is the all-star team I'd pick. Their movements cover a lot of types and weaknesses of the sort. You know, real nice balance of skills and overall swagger. So could your ultimate team beat mine? I doubt it. Please don't answer that question, just let me have this.